Today is March 21st. Let's try that again. Today is March 24th, 2023. It's episode 217 of Maelstrom Radio. Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Gladys and Shifter. And welcome, everybody, to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Peter. With me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Quentin. Hi, friend.
Hi. I'm excessively bright tonight.
You are, well, you're a shining star, honestly.
Yeah.
Also with us, good friend of the show. Hasn't been here a while. Last time was here, kicked our butts in trivia.
Oh man. And then subsequently started his own trivia show because of it.
Hey, love it.
It hurts.
Have you had Beach Hills on yet?
No, I have not.
Maybe special episode.
Maybe
crossover.
Maybe someday. Yeah.
Must have us on Beach Hills. By the way, Kamijace is here. You can tell we're friends. We just like roll right into the conversation. No need for introductions. Kamijace is here.
Hello.
What, the third time you've been here?
I think so by now, right?
Third
Something
or
like
fourth,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll start when we start losing count.
Of Kamijace's takeover. All podcasts belong to me.
Where's Kamijace inserts, and the next thing just here is a permanent staple.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're gonna have to fight Chili for that position.
Ooh. I don't know. I think I know more trivia than Chili, so.
I was thinking talking about just like podcast invasions.
Fair enough.
Trivia, yeah, you could probably, yeah.
D palette.
I can do it.
So Kamijace is here, podcaster, journalist, content creator, and gamer. So welcome to the show again. So as always, before we jump into our conversation, we just want to know what we've been up to in the world of gaming. Quinn, what have you been doing in the last week?
Ooh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, that's right.
It's the 2 weeks. Yeah, we don't podcast every week now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks. But then a lot of things have happened then.
Forget it.
I have. A couple weeks ago, I streamed Coffee Talk with Sarah, and we got a little bit further. We have probably one more session or so to go through with it. And then the following week, I played through a game called Lost in Play, which is a really cute little puzzle game. Very fun. It's about 4 hours, or no, 3 to 4 hours long, I would say. We do have a lot on YouTube. Thank you to Susan of that. Also, in this past week, I've been playing, or I did play Turn Up Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which we'll go to in a little bit later. And the last couple days, I've been playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So that's been exciting. We also finally beat Remnant from the Ashes on our co-op stream. And because we beat that, we decided to play Super Bunny Man the next day. And that was an experience.
Like a bad one?
Have you ever heard or seen Super Bunny Man?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a very exciting game.
Yeah. Right?
Now imagine us playing it together. It was fun.
Was there no chemistry? Is that what's happening?
Oh, there's plenty of chemistry.
There's a lot of things blowing up.
There's a lot of chemistry, but like the kind of chemistry like mixing,
you know what?
Baking soda and vinegar.
Because I've seen people do, what's that other game? Like with the really janky kind of stickman controls where you have to like latch on to objects.
Like QWOP or something like that.
Yeah. I can see that happening.
Get over it,
Bunny Man.
Or get over it, yeah.
Yeah, human fall flat. Someone said it.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
fall
That is
flat.
exactly what it is. And I've seen people play that and like, they're fine as friends, obviously, but they are having the worst time. And Super Bunny Man strikes me as that plus like a Kirby adventure co-op where you're like not entirely all on the same page. Am I right by that? Is that a fair assessment? Hot or cold? On the money, off the money.
Not necessarily wrong. The levels are super short, right? Like the levels are probably less than a minute. But
Oh, if you actually could do them, yeah.
yeah, if you could do them well, less than a minute.
Okay, so it's
You couldn't.
okay.
So sometimes they were taking us 20 minutes to get. And if you like look at, if you zoomed out and looked at the level, you would be like, oh, that should take no time at all.
Okay, so I'm hearing failing bunny man. Is that correct? Not super.
Oh, yeah.
Failure bunny hero.
Yeah, and it really was a practice in
patience, perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also one of those things that both people have to complete the level. You can't just have one. So if you get to the very end and the other person just dies,
you have to do
had
it
that
all over
happen
again.
so many times.
Yeah. There's a little bit of psychosis in there, like repeating the same aspect and like, well, surely this will not happen again.
I'm seeing this I'm seeing it. Okay, I got it.
Anyways, recommend the game if you have someone that you really want to play it with.
Yeah.
Awful experience. 10 out of 10.
Oh, my favorite part
exactly.
is when we're like, all right, we finished the second like area. Now we're gonna go to the third area. Nope. You need 40 carrots. You're like 40 carrots. Go back.
All right, let's go back and try to speed run.
and redo areas, and you're like, oh, this is a nightmare.
I'm writing this down for later. I'm gonna find someone to play this with.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, it's truly one of those. I know, like you play Mario Party, and you like, oh, we're gonna lose friendships. This is a game. Bunny Man is like,
this is different from that.
Yeah, you're not going to lose a friendship. You're going to be like, how, this is the person I'm going to go to jail with. This is the person.
A true test of friendship.
Yeah, like how.
Honestly, it can go both ways, though. It's either the person you're going to jail with or it's the person you're going to jail for.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've got several people in mind.
Yep.
I like how you suddenly just like, yes, I know exactly.
I think you can do up to 4 people, I think, in multiplayer. I think.
Oh, 4. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can have up to 4 people.
So,
I mean, it was challenging to have the 2 of us to complete this. I could not imagine it with 3 or 4 people.
I'm dragging 3 extra friends.
Yep.
Along for this shit show.
Yep. Worth it.
Honestly, like we did a lot of like tumbling over just by grabbing each other, and that somehow beat a lot of levels easily. Just make a massive ball of 4 people.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. Just embrace it. There's a lot of like, oh, if you just embrace somebody, you will win. So
hug it out.
Yeah.
And the moral of the game is hugging is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tender embrace of another human.
Have a
human
Katamari hug, and you'll be fine.
Don't Google human Katamari, by the way. Probably shouldn't do that.
I would not.
So speaking of Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, I played through that as well. I beat the game on stream. The VOD is up for that as well. Boy, I love that game. It is super short, but super worth your time. If you have access to Xbox Game Pass, if that's an option you have, or if you just own it through a Humble Bundle pack, you're just like, oh, I'll play that eventually. Play it. It's super short, 3 hours full completion of the game, and then there's like some bonus stuff you can do just if you want 100% it, but not needed for the story. So total worth of your time. Total, like well written, great little game, great plot twist. So
okay,
and lots of jiggling.
Oh yeah, lots of jiggling. Lots of jiggling.
Susan approved.
Yep. Again, we did beat Remnant from the Ashes. We beat a Soulsborne game without help. So, which shocked both of us.
Yeah, that's a win for us.
Yeah, I did some Fortnite this week. I was gonna wait to start my new backlog game next week, which is gonna be Hi-Fi Rush. So that's starting on Monday, which I'm excited for. I didn't know that was from the makers of Evil Within.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
That was actually like a selling point for that game. It was like, remember this really creepy game that you played? Here's not that.
Here's not that at all. Here's this like wonderfully cute main character with his robot cat in a world that's like
game.
They're just trying to lower your defenses.
Maybe.
Are you ready for rhythm game horror survival? Because here it comes.
Honestly, not. Honestly, would
we
not.
Both got on that.
Honestly, wouldn't hate that. Kind of beyond that.
It's a rhythm game with jump scares.
Yeah.
Oh.
I already got the name of it.
All right.
Beat you to death.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Trademark it immediately.
Yep.
Because that's gonna sell millions.
Yep. It's just like a theater rhythm. Just like that.
Jeez.
What if that wouldn't be so terrible, right? Like if it was like theater rhythm, but as you progressively made progress through the game, things around you started happening and getting. That wouldn't be terrible.
But you'd have to be like A, B, X, Y. A,
yeah.
B. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you remember We Were Here? We had the first game where we had that jester.
Yeah.
And like every time, like you over time, if you did not do things correctly, the room just got darker and darker and darker until it got you. Every time you make a mistake, the screen just goes.
Yeah, it closes in on you.
Interesting.
And then if you completely fail, then it gives you the jump scare.
Yeah. There was a horror game which was like a point and click typing adventure. I think it was called like Untold Stories.
Yes, there are tons of games like that.
Where it's just like it takes place at a computer screen, but as you're typing in things, like sounds of like the door behind you. It's very immersive 3D sound. Like, oh man, that would be Typing of the Dead. I don't
is really good. Actually,
it is good. I don't know if that's what we're going for.
We're getting there. It's.
I know that it's
in that realm.
Then it goes away from being scary to be like, well, I'm trying to type butter 40 times to kill this zombie. Butter.
I keep missing the R.
Butter.
That's how you find out that your R key is broken.
Yeah.
You're playing Typing of the Dead.
Just typing butte. It's like, no, stop spelling butte. And I also played some. So I did play some Fortnite this Monday. Chili and chat.
You logged into Final Fantasy.
I did log into Final Fantasy.
We gotta save our houses.
I did do that. House is saved.
For Susan.
Bid on a medium, did not get it.
Oh.
Yeah. Chili did allude me to a code to go play at Island from Heinz in Fortnite. For soil degradation purposes. It was like, like warning you about the horrors of soil degradation. Not bad. It was okay. Like, probably needed people to play it. I was the only person in there well, I should take that back. One other person joined out of curiosity, probably Morbid, and I won.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it was the catch-up thing.
Oh yeah, catch up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it. So it's interesting that people like make islands and stuff like that, because a lot of them are like jump puzzles. Like most of them are just jump puzzles.
And well, there's incentive to make islands because Epic is going to start paying people for that.
Great.
If your island is super popular, you can get some dollar bills from Big Daddy Epic.
Hey, I wonder if it would pay better than Twitch.
It probably pays better. It pays better than Roblox.
It's 40%. So I think
better than Second Life, maybe too.
Roblox has been making millions off 13-year-olds for years.
Yeah.
Some kid out there is like, oh, I made a first-person shooter, and it's actually really good. It's got depth and everything. And Roblox is like, yeah, it's great.
We made a first-person shooter.
We did this.
Slaps a trademark on it. This is ours.
This is ours now. And then just to update everybody on Susan's current Octopath Traveler 2 hour count, 36 hours currently in Octopath Traveler 2.
I think it was about last time too.
Was it? Was it third? No, I think it was 22 last time. It's been 2 weeks. I'm sure she's clocked in some more time. So
I know she has been busy lately. So it was 27 last time.
So, yeah, almost 10 more hours.
Beautiful.
Almost. So, well, that's all of our updates. So now we're just gonna update ourselves with Kamijace. I mean, so you've been streaming a lot lately.
Yeah,
doing some D&D. Raided you the other night.
Yeah,
saw some of your people talking about Lathander. Praise be the light of Lathander.
Yes. So yeah, there's been a kind of resurgence with my Twitchness. I have been like on and off trying to Twitch stream for like 5 years or so
Mhm.
Twitch tells me.
It's difficult.
And yeah, I could not really find the flow to do it, but I seem to have hit a stride since about January. And so I'm trying to keep up with it as much as I can.
Mhm.
Um, and to that end, I have two guaranteed nights, right? I have Tuesday and Wednesday, which are my D&D nights. On Tuesday, we play a Curse of Strahd stream, and
Mhm.
the Tuesday game you rated, we were doing some more wrapping up. We have been kind of stuck in this one town for a very long time. We finally beat the many asses of many bad guys, um, including a really nasty lich lady. Super nasty,
Ooh.
just gross. Um, and we have finally like cleaned up most of our affairs and we're about to leave, but we encountered a little bit of resistance from one of the bad guys' children who
Mhm.
decided that he wanted to, build a portal to escape, but it doesn't work and there's a whole mess of trouble there, and there was almost some PvP, which was really fun, because two of our very staunchly kind of tanky characters, um, they have these kind of conflicting personalities, right? And one of them was like, "Where's the bad thing? I just sensed it." And the other guy was like, "Can you chill out, like for a second? Relax. It's not even here
Gonna need
anymore."
you to calm down.
Um, and their personalities are so different, but in the heat of battle they do really fun things like back each other up, and like it's almost like you want them to continue to be rivals because it's
It's
just that
Gimli and
much.
Legolas.
Yes, it's just that much cooler when they actually do something in tandem that really works well.
Is there a love
um
story then?
no, I want there to be.
Enemies to lovers.
I have been I have been teasing them about being boyfriends since this began, and I in my heart of
Yeah.
hearts I know it to be true, but they will not
Mm.
make it canon, so it's fine. It's fine.
The anime
And
wants it.
yeah, the anime definitely, the fan service is there. Honestly, it's there. Um and when you happened in on the game, my character Artem, who has a twin brother Alias, we were kind of tasked, I guess, with distracting the more fiery of the two. And something that has been on my mind and also my character's mind is, who is Lathander and why are you so zealot crazy about him? And so we asked, like, tell us more. And now I have some theories about this character because he's been masked the entire time that we've been on this one adventure. And I have a really, really strong sense about like what kind of person is underneath that mask. And I
Mhm.
won't say it here because I am pretty sure my DM and also my friend who plays my twin brother character is in here. Um, and I don't want to like go too into the weeds. Well, but I have some thoughts about this character based on like fighting styles and just the general vibe. And also he gave us some of his backstory, and I'm like, that sounds like something. That sounds like, I'm gonna go read a wiki, but that sounds like something. Um, and yes, and my Wednesday game, which just wrapped up as well.
Mhm.
That was interesting because at the end of it, my character died. Um,
Ooh. Heroic death?
Yeah, it was very heroic. So,
That's good. Yeah.
I tell people that I play a habitual half orc, or excuse me, habitually lying half orc warlock. He lies all the
Okay.
time. He cannot stop lying. Usually it's beneficial in a way. He has a very kind of Robin Hood-esque kind of background where he's like an orphan and robs from people but gives to less fortunate people, and also like pockets a little for himself, a finder's fee, if you will. um
Exactly. Yep.
and he got into a lot of trouble in his youth and decided to leave the town he's from because like the cops were after him, ACAB. And there was a point in the campaign recently where he was like, I really need my patrons' help. And we were in a fight with a really big baddie. And to help his friends, he had to give his patron some of his life force. And he gave it all up to save his friends. Um, he's now dead. The end. um,
But did
I'm
they
having
win?
Oh yes, we
See,
he
meaningful
made
sacrifice.
he had a moment where he was incredibly furious with the big baddie, the boss in this case. Um, he yelled out his vehement hate for this woman, and then he cast his kind of final spell before everyone else laid in on her, and then he said, "All right, this is it, folks. The lights are going out. My body's feeling a little cold. Uh, the patron here says that I gotta go now. So bye."
I don't want to go.
Just fade out.
It was very emotional. A lot of the three people I play with were very kind of like, we've been playing for like 2 years and you're just gonna, like, he's just dead now, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so. um I feel
Surprise.
yeah, I feel like I owe a lot of the kind of surprise of his death to my DM, because I didn't even really know if I wanted him to die, but um his patron was given, he was given this ultimatum, right? His patron gave him this ultimatum, like, you have to give me this in order to do this. And he's like, I'm not dying. What are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to die. That's screw you. But then he's like, listen, you have to like have faith, or else it may not work out the way you think it is. And he's like, oh. And it's like in that moment, he's like, shoot, I think I get it. I understand. Like, I um this whole time I've been super selfish and like only thinking about myself. And I think that's the reason why I've been fighting. But now I think the reason I've been fighting is because I actually kind of care about people. And he was like, fuck, guess I gotta die.
Damn, I have feelings.
Yeah, I'm more emotional than I thought I was. So now we're in the process of creating a new character that none of my friends are gonna like. So it's fun. It's
Ooh.
great.
I like that part of it. It's like, now I'm creating a new character. No one's gonna like them.
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they might. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been playing D&D now, like I said, for about 2-ish years with a lot of these folks, and it's like opened up a new line of like creativity, and I've been enjoying sharing it with people too on Twitch. It's just been really great, and I'm happy to do it forever
and ever and
and
ever.
ever and ever.
So, outside of D&D, video game wise, what have you been playing anything, or have you been keeping up on any gaming news? Is there anything that
Oh
that's coming down the
yeah,
pipeline that you're like, oh, I can't wait for that to
there's
come out?
there is a there's a few things. First of all, I played actually last week I played the beta for Exoprimal. I didn't
Mhm.
know what to think about this game going into it, but
Okay.
it looks like and it feels like a whole lot of fun. Um, it has PvE elements to it where you're
Mm.
working as like a co-op team, and I guess there's like a ranking board and stuff like that. But there's also kind of a PvP element to it where you are actually working against another team to kill a whole lot of dinosaurs before the other team. And it's maddening because they spawn like trillions of little raptors and like the occasional triceratops and T-Rex, and it gets really really hectic really fast. And you do have to be kind of in tandem with everyone else. It is one of those kind of Overwatch shooters where like you have to have a certain kind of team makeup,
Mm-hmm.
or else it's going to feel weird, and you're not going to be working really well. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Everybody go
It didn't
Junkrat for the memes.
it didn't feel very it didn't feel like it was just another like zombie shooter. It, like, despite it being kind of that,
Mm-hmm.
um it still felt different enough where it was fun and like cool. And I'm excited for that for sure.
I watched the trailer for that last week, and it was crazy. It was like, it's like, oh, it was like deploy raptors, and it's like, wait, deploy raptors, and all of a sudden, like this void sphere opens up and just barfs out hundreds of raptors, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. And then you, as a player, are manning an exo robot suit. And not kidding, that's literally what this is.
There's really cool thing, like there's a really cool point where you can, like, if you're not feeling like you're playing well on one exosuit, you like splat out of it, and that's the only way I can describe it, because there's like this watery vortex that you jump out of as well. I have no idea what that's about, but you jump out of it, and for a while you're this vulnerable meat man just shooting his little gun at some dinosaurs until you can respawn your new suit. So you're like, oh no, I'm vulnerable, psych, and then you jump into like a man with a minigun all of a sudden.
Pow! Pew pew! Bang!
It's real fun. It's real fun. It was real fun.
It looked kind of ridiculous from the
trailer. It looked crazy
for sure. But I mean, what are most video games if not ridiculous?
Some of them are just bad.
That's correct. I don't think this one is going to be. I think it's going to be good. I hope it's good. And on that same note, there's a game called Hyenas coming out, which I'm kind of interested. Actually, there's an alpha test for Hyenas today, and it is another shooter, but it's like one of those kind of dystopian future ones where you're shooting your friends for the entertainment of rich people. But
like what we do on stream.
Yeah, right. But I think one of the cool aspects of it is it has this like zero gravity type space feel to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's got and it's also again one of those character shooters where you click in to play as a certain person. They're introducing this one character that is a cosplayer, and he can turn into rivals on the enemy team. So you know, it's kind of like a what's his face from the spy. There we go, from TF2.
Okay, yeah.
It's fun. It's great.
Oh man, that's something I didn't expect. Is like, oh, like Valve will never make a new game, and also it's like CS2. Like, wait, I'm sorry, what? Counter-Strike?
That too.
We doing Counter-Strike 2 now?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Team Fortress 3? What do we do?
It seems like
we actually had a conversation about that at work about Team Fortress 3.
I mean, did you see the smoke shooting bullets through smoke, and the smoke was like poof poof poof?
It's clear they've been sitting on this for a while.
Oh,
like,
for
they've
sure.
been wanting to do this for a while, and now they're like, let's make people scared.
Yeah.
In order to get the bullet smoke stuff, though, you have to have like a 4090 Ti.
Oh wow, is that true? I feel like that's true.
I wouldn't put it past them to be true.
I feel like that would not be surprising at all.
I could see that being very much a rendered.
So I wonder if they're now releasing a new because they're not using Epic stuff.
Their source engine.
They have to be using a new source engine, right?
It'd be interesting if they put it on an update.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Especially with the whole Epic Unity stuff.
Like, yeah, that's true. I will say I hope that they just make it accessible. Like, it doesn't have to be that pretty, you know.
Well, I mean, especially after the whole like uproar with Epic and what they were trying to do with Unity, like Valve could get a lot of goodwill by releasing a really accessible engine that people could use.
Yeah.
Will they do it? Maybe. I don't know. They seem to be doing a lot of stuff with Linux too, which has been pretty nice for the community.
You never know what Gabe's doing over there. He's very he's like, you know, no one's like
from him.
Yeah,
he spends 8 hours tenting his fingers and then he goes home.
Yeah, he's just like
one day he comes back. He opens the door with a great bombast and he says, "Release the footage," and then he shuts the door and then he goes back to tense his
He's sitting in like a throne made of money and he's just like this. He's like, what if we did a handheld, and just walks out of the room. He's like, make it so. And they're like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
But yeah, the problem is they can never release the third of anything.
Oof.
Well,
Good luck, everybody else.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen is that CS:GO 2 happens, right? And it's on a new engine, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, we have to add something else. That's when Team
can
Fortress
And
only
it'll be
play
CS:GO
with
2.5.
this cool new controller we made.
Because hasn't Team Fortress 2 gone up in popularity just like slightly recently? Like I feel like it's picked back up some steam. Am I wrong about that, Team?
I think it's more like it seems like people are still kind of nostalgic about it. And so you see people running back to it. I mean,
I think it was always fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was always a blast.
I think people though are like done with that part of their lives, so to speak.
Well, I think it's one of those things
That's the
that
only way I can
kinda
think
like
about it.
phases, right?
Yeah.
Like the people that played it at that age have kind of grown past it, but there's a new generation to come and play from that. It's the Fortnite to TF2 pipeline.
Yeah, I think
Oh, the
Chili's
Fortnite to
right.
TF2
I think Team Fortress 2 I think they announced new content for TF2. I wouldn't.
Oh,
Yeah, for
that's actually news to me.
yeah, update
This is
release.
kind of backwards world. We get new content for TF2 and Final Fantasy 11 gets maintenance mode.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is now released.
What are we back in 2004? Or 6 or whatever that one was?
Resident Evil 4 is released.
Yeah.
I mean,
next, I mean, if they would have said, "Hey, also GameCube, GameCube channel for Switch," I would have been like, "Well, here it is."
Well, see, they can't do that because they still can't figure out the N64 controller.
That's
sale problem.
It doesn't matter. They dropped Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. So just play Tetris, and everyone would be happy about it.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance fits well on the Switch controls.
I know. And that means
the GameCube controller is extremely unique. So if you're going to drop the GameCube stuff, you need the controller.
You kind of do.
You remember the GameCube controller because nothing's ever been like that.
Well, that's why. Well, a lot of people still say it's the controller, right? Like it's the one that most Smash players will still use to this day.
I think that's only Smash players that say that is the controller.
No, it's peak controller, bro. It's peak controller. Don't even talk to me.
You know what? I agree. It is peak controller. The little C is down here for some reason, and it's no longer buttons. It's like a little funky.
Don't even wave. What was it, the wave one? Was the
Wavebird?
The Wavebird. Don't Wavebird me, bro. That battery dies. No, game over.
Wavebird.
No.
Also, I saw the picture of hyenas. There was like a gun charm, a sonic gun charm, or
oh yeah, it's
also got a Richard Nixon mask in this game. This game's wild.
Oh no,
it's gonna be bonkers. I'm very excited.
No.
It is created by the same people who did the Alien Isolation game. So you know,
that's right up there with Hi-Fi Rush. Then it's just like, well, here we go.
Yeah. They also did the Total War Warhammer game. So if you played those, you might like hyenas. You might.
Oh, so get this. I looked up hyenas, right? And I was like, all right, shooter. And I scrolled down just slightly, and it's like Clan of Hyenas down on the Amazon App Store. It is the jankiest looking game. It's so bad. It's like the Birdemic of video games. It's not good. It's not great.
I love the Amazon store.
Oh my god. So I know that I could say earlier on, we all of us have social media. I could say that you and I were probably people that were like, oh, Final Fantasy 16, probably gonna peep that out. And then, and we're like, all right, good guy Yoshi P. Everybody loves Yoshi P. And then Yoshi P is kind of like, there's no brown people in this world.
Yeah. So I have such an interesting trajectory with Final Fantasy 16 specifically because I remember thinking, you know what? It's like the same protagonist that they always use, but it's okay. I mean, whatever, big deal. And then at some point it got like progressively more like just white. And I was like, well, they usually throw us a bone, right? The bone being black man with a gun, black man with a gun, or like ambiguous brown person. And so I was like, okay,
Yep.
eventually we'll get there. But instead, what had happened was Yoshi P decided that to promote the idea that like not only are there no black or brown people in this game, there were none in Europe. And I was like, hang on. So well, hold on a second. Because I think we all know that to be untrue. And then there's this whole thing with like there being specific kind of Moorish, Arabian, if you will, architecture in it. But again, no brown people.
No.
So at this point, I have two minds. One is that I will either never play this game or that like one day in the future I will still have my PlayStation 5 and I will be at like the the new brainchild GameStop video game store, see a copy of it for 99 cents and be like, "Oh, I sure, why not?" At this
By
point.
that time, it'll be on Steam.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
just buy it on
probably
Steam sale for
that's
99
true. You're right.
cents.
Maybe
Well, if
that.
it ever comes out on PC, who knows?
Oh, I'm sure it will. Like, even if they just put a terrible port of it, like
I
15.
I don't know.
they
It's
usually do
funny.
put it on PC at some point, but
Mm,
I do feel kind of like I don't know. I feel like it's one of those games where if it if it is on sale in my face every day of the week, I will be like, no, I don't really need it at this point.
I don't need the reminder that I don't
Yeah,
exist in that
yeah.
world.
And it's actually something I yell about almost constantly on especially during Black History Month. We talk about representation in video games. And it's not that Barrett and forget his name, Saz, I think,
Saws,
in
yeah.
12 are bad characters, but it is that the people at Square Soft slash Enix decide that every time they want a black person in a game, they must have gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that one little stereotypical hang up for me.
Wait. Don't forget, Saws. Remember his summon? Do you remember the summon?
I don't actually.
He turned into a car with rims.
Man. Anyway, so
20s to be exact. They gave him 20s, gold 20s.
There's like real reasons for me to never uphold a Final Fantasy game like ever. But there is something about those games that I still enjoy. Couldn't tell you what it is at this point. But I just know it's there, right? I grew up on like Final Fantasy 3, 5, and 6. And Chrono Trigger and all of the other Square Enix things that are RPG related. But there are like these things lately that keep happening. Like one of the things Yoshi P said recently was that he feels like the term JRPG is like a derogatory term.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what do you mean by that? Can you explain? Like, can you go into more detail? I don't understand what you're saying to me because it is not that someone has knocked the game somehow. It is just a designation for an RPG, and a style of RPG that follows a pattern, I guess, right? Like a certain kind of rhythm.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I guess
I
it
could
matters
still
more to
see
them, right?
why. Yeah, like it's probably kind of, and this is going to be a terrible link, but like calling all animation anime,
Sure. Okay.
right? Like even if it's created in
I
Japan,
guess.
it's not necessarily anime. It's animation. Like that's a very distinct
I just think
style.
Square Enix has a long history of two things. One, no black people or stereotypical black person,
Yeah.
or and putting their foot in their mouth in every interview, like every single interview. And so
Yep.
it is hard for me sometimes to speak in good faith to those games. Um it is similar with like Capcom and Resident Evil, or even Street Fighter, right? Resident Evil has two, let's say 3 black people at most. Um, 2 of them die, and
Yeah.
one of them is only there to make Chris look less racist.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter has an okay track record with black people, except they always look worse than everyone else. They are poorly designed, usually very hyper features going on in the face, and just not good.
I'm
They've
starting to
made good on
feel
that lately.
they've
but
made
it's
really
better.
good on it lately, and I also feel like the new Street Fighter, they just went and said you can make your own character, and 2, everyone's gonna be hyper exaggerated, so no excuses anywhere. Everybody
Oh
like
yeah,
I mean, just the
everyone's
making the
gonna look
face
good
thing
this
in the
time.
versus screen. It's like like all right, that's the face we're gonna
Yeah.
make now. So
They definitely seem to have come to a point where they're like, maybe we should stop being so mean to a certain kind of person, and make all the black people look good, and all the the brown people look amazing. Like the Japanese and Asian characters are great, the white people fantastic, of course, fantastic, 1000%. But I feel better, I guess, about Capcom's treatment, so to speak,
yeah.
um, than I have with Final Fantasy and with Square Enix, which is saying something, I guess.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we don't talk about it here because we're mostly Final Fantasy 14. But even then, right? Like I'm, you know, being Cuban and Hispanic, I'm just like, what? Yeah, I'm just like, why is it that we're living in 2023 and then brown people still don't exist in your fake European magic worlds? Why is it?
It's so weird. There's like a woman appearing out of the mists who was wearing an ice crown. My cool everyone's cool new boyfriend is turning into a lizard fire creature.
Mhm.
But like, God forbid some black guy is like, hey, what's up, I'm here to deliver the fruit you ordered, or anything, like they're not even background characters in the game. They're just not there.
I feel like that would be a
Um,
little bit worse
I
if they
don't
were there but only black background.
You know what, that I see that point. um but I think ignoring the first of all, the fact, okay, that there were black and brown people in medieval Europe,
I
right,
know. Yeah.
right next door is Spain. Like there are definitely brown people in Spain during this time. And then on top of that, like, just ignoring the fact that this is a fantasy world anyway, so you can do whatever you want, right? It's just,
Magic and demons.
yeah, like the creatures are coming out of crystals, like, but God forbid that like a buzz cut black guy is not there or something. I don't know. It makes me very like, why should I be playing this game
Yeah.
aside from for enjoyment?
Unless it's a monster. If it's a
Yeah.
monster, it could have any skin color.
And
Right, non-human.
and I hate, like, I have to give Square, and maybe it's just the specific director for the new Final Fantasy VII remake. I feel like he put more effort into Barrett this time. Yes, he has the gun still, but that's just because it's Barrett. But also his weapons changed a little bit, and I feel like
Yeah.
Barrett's writing was better this time, also because it wasn't just like, I'm angry and the planet and like I'm gonna kill them all. But like, I feel that was still there, but I felt like he had a little more heart this time around.
They
So
seem to. So, and this is also where I kind of push back on some things Yoshi P says and some things that people online say about like not knowing how to represent black people in video games, because it's not true, right? Like Final Fantasy VII original Barrett was like layers of different stereotypes,
it
right?
sure
But they still managed to write this very kind of cute fatherly figure for him in that game. Um, in the remake, what they've done is they've toned it down a little bit, right?
Yep.
He's a little less Mr. T who cusses
for
a
sure.
lot.
Yep.
And he's a little more of his own
Fatherly.
dude.
Yeah, he's a little more fatherly. I
Um,
would say even that, I think he's still a little more like a single dad trying to like save the
Right.
world for his daughter.
And it shows that they have the kind of like DEI or whatever going on internally to know how to handle that or to know what to take out and what to put back in. So the idea that like you can't do it in Final Fantasy 16 or that something that I truly think is derogatory, Japanese developers don't know how to do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
Japanese developers have the internet and they have they have money, right, to make these things. They can hire someone to help them write a decent black character,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
they can like look at pieces of media who have decent black characters, or shot in the dark, they could write the protagonist that they have for Final Fantasy 16 but make him black. It's the same game. It is,
Mm-hmm.
I promise it is the same game. You could just have a black protagonist who goes through the same like crazy bullshit that this guy's about to go through. But,
Susan
it's
and
fine.
our producer Susan asked, "What is the game with the best representation of people of color?"
Ooh.
That's a great
Uh
question.
if we're talking, I don't know. Um
I mean, part of me thinks, despite
oh,
their, I mean, go ahead, go for it.
yes. I can't believe I forgot this because I yell about it every time someone brings it up. But Mellow Mystical in the chat is absolutely correct about Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Hmm.
Miles Morales has, first of all, Miles Morales is like me in a way. He grew up in Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx, BX represent. But it is true that we are both Afro Latino. He has a mother who in that game is Hispanic and a father who is black. And I have like a mixture of both. Like my mom is black and Hispanic, and then my dad is Jamaican. And so much of what happens to him kind of culturally, growing up in the hood, knowing people from your hood, um the way the way he ate for Christmas, right? He had pernil for dinner, which is a very Puerto Rican thing to do. Um and there were just all these little cultural moments. His mom's house looked like my house growing up. Like is true, beautiful, joyful representation in that
Hmm.
game. It is not just kind of like a good character going through trauma. It is a great character, a little bit of trauma, just a drop because it's like an
Always, yeah.
action
It's
thingy.
yeah, it's a superhero Spider-Man, like it's Spider-Man, right? Like
but
there needs to be
there's
some trauma.
but there is so much joy in the character and the things going on around him. And it is just it's one of the most perfect games in my opinion. It's a little short, but it is absolutely worth playing 1000%. 1000%. Um, if you want to have a bad time but still have good representation,
Oh no.
um, Mafia 3 is one game I always yell about.
Mafia
Because
3, yeah. I go
there
ahead.
is
Yeah.
there are these very real, very visceral moments in Mafia 3 that reminds you that oh, people were really fucking racist back in the day.
Mm,
And it is not so much that you are hearing about it like third hand, right? Because that's how a lot of us experience it now. But it is also that you experience it as though you are indeed a black man in the Jim Crow era South, right?
mhm.
The biggest example I always bring up is I was playing the game. I was having a little run around the city, doing nothing in particular. Didn't realize that I walked into an whites only establishment until the music got super scary and sour all of a sudden. And I got this warning box that said, like, you're in a whites only establishment and people will be real hostile to you. And I was like, oh my god, because he's black. Like like I was taken out of it for a minute because I was just trying to enjoy the game. But the game reminded you, you're not allowed to do that actually right now. Because guess what, my friend? Um, you're in danger no matter what. Um, there's also like parts of the game where like the police just look at you funny. You know what I mean? Like the police are staring at you. People around town are like, "Why are you in this part of town?" Like it's makes you reclusive almost. And I recommend white people play that game. Thank you.
No, they did it really well. Really, really. The whole concept of like what if, first of all, like it was like, oh, Mafia 3, and I know a lot of people are like, oh great, you're the mob, but then this one turned it on its side, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
what
And
if?
I think it is one of those games that like you give to someone you know who does not quite understand what is going on in the world, and you'd be like, just go ahead. No, you're fine. Do what you need to do. I'll be over here. When you're ready to talk real politics, let me know. Okay, thanks. Mellow Mystical in the chat is right. Horizon Zero Dawn also has very good representation of black folks, POC folks, and they're all beautiful people too. Very well modeled.
I'm trying to think of games that, for lack of the company, I think the people who created Overwatch, I think, were trying to make a good effort of representation in that game.
Yeah. The way they went about it, weird, but
yes, yep. How they went about it, weird, but they made an effort, and I know a lot of people on the team themselves did that on purpose because they said like, we don't see ourselves in these games, and we want to put ourselves. Even the person that's a hamster on the team apparently to get themselves in there, but hey, you know what? Love it.
My favorite character, to be quite honest. I would actually say Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and Wrath of the Righteous have really good representation too. And is a very good example of not only introducing black and brown characters to your pseudo fantasy medieval area, but also a really good way of not making people do terrible British accents. Because Sela in Pathmaker Wrath of the Righteous just uses her voice, right? That's a black woman voicing a black woman, and it sounds fine. It sounds great. She's wonderful.
Natural.
Yeah, it's very natural. And then, but of course, you have some British voice actors in there as well. So you're like, I don't know, you're not taken out of it, I guess. But Kingmaker also has, I think, a black man companion you can come across as well, and it's just a natural sounding voice. So yeah, I would recommend all of those games, even the one that'll make you sad.
I'm trying to think, was there any other? Trying to think if there's any RPGs with great I guess for lack of like, I wouldn't say, I mean, they just add diversity to their worlds. Like if you look at your Elder Scrolls games, they do have representation. I don't know, but there are also the worlds where like everyone is there to live and exist. So they don't necessarily deal with like real world issues in that way.
Skyrim is a lot like some other fantasy medieval-y things where the humans are all fine with each other vis-a-vis skin color, but like the moment you have a pointed ear, watch the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of thing.
You a lizard, bro?
Yeah. What are you doing here, cat? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's one thing I found really interesting with Pathfinder is that even though the tieflings are still demonic heritage, they're not looked down upon in Pathfinder. As opposed to like 5th edition.
Oh yeah.
They are shunned.
Yep. They sure are. Shout out once again to my DM who does not bring these things into the thing. Well, sort of. Sometimes he does, but it's for good reason.
Like even for me, I think like Hispanic representation in video games. I know we have like Miles Morales. For me, and as much as like I still make fun of the game, but it's still one of my favorite series was Gears of War because Dom being not only a main character of the game, being Hispanic and one of the early Hispanic characters in video game, like that I can remember being prominent and being in all 3 games and having well-written lines and having not just like, oh, he's here because he's Hispanic, but no, he was like, he's Hispanic and he's got this wife and he's looking for her, and it's part of his character arc and everything like that. And you know, the love and care, and then not only that, hiring a Hispanic voice actor to voice him, and making that cultural choices like, oh, like Dom's just not shoehorned in here. Like Dom is his best friend, and like he serves a purpose, and you can play as Dom. Like that's one of my favorite things is like if you do multiplayer, you can choose to be like, hey, you could be the main character or you could be Dom. And I like most of the time I play Dom. Like I was like, no, I want to play the person who represents me. I want to play that guy. So, and he was great. Like he felt like he fit in that world. And again, Gears of War, I know like everyone's like bulked out meatheads, but you know,
listen,
great.
Wrong with that.
No, but good, solid representation. Like I like the idea of like, hey, everybody's in this game. You got like Southern Billy Bob who's wearing his cowboy hat, and you got, you know, a doctor. You got everybody. So,
I want to put Tekken on the list for good Hispanic.
Tekken's got a wild cast, and I love it.
You'd have to like pay attention to the lore to know that King was Mexican, but it's pretty clear if you pay close attention. I think what Tekken does really good, aside from just developing good-looking characters and a good lore that makes them fit into whatever is happening between this son and father rivalry, is also introducing people to actual fighting styles that exist. Eddie Gordo doing capoeira is one of the best things I've ever thought of in video games. Just really good. Miguel Rojo is also in Tekken. He's just very admittedly he falls into the stereotype of like a really a guy from Spain with like a lot of flair and beauty, but it works in a way it works in a way for him that feels like not terrible. Capcom again did something kind of when they introduced Carlos in Resident Evil 3, but the remake kind of does him much better.
Yeah, it did.
The womanizer. So I would put those folks up there as well. I'm trying to think of if I'm missing somebody. I'm sure. I know we mentioned Overwatch, but I know of a lot of folks who were incredibly happy when Sombra was introduced into the game. I don't think at that point in any of the few character shooters or character games that we've had out since there was much Hispanic representation, and if there was, it was not like she is Mexican. Like they did not tell you. Like it was kind of ambiguous. So I do enjoy a good Sombra. Also, she's real good in the game. Just saying.
I mean, also, you know, if you're speaking of Tekken, like I also want to give shout out to Tekken, and I think even now Street Fighter as well. But they've gone out and Tekken has gone out and did fat representation really well as well. Like,
oh yeah.
So, you know, shout out.
Street Fighter had Honda, who I think
was Honda. He was a sumo. Yeah.
He was not super, I guess, liked as a as the game moved west, but I think has become a more liked character by people in the West as we've grown from our biases about Japanese culture and about sumo wrestling and about fat people as a whole. So I think that is
I got double representation with
that. There you go.
So
there you go.
So what we're saying is there are plenty of games out there with great representation and different levels of representation if you really want them.
Sometimes you gotta look for them. You gotta really dig, make sure you know that they're there. Other times they're right in your face doing a cool suplex or something.
Yeah, Susan Zangief is getting beefier and beefier every game. That's true.
Damn right he is. I say that in a very homosexual way.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Guilty Gear does scratch the itch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. and there's a lot of great fighting games I think that do representation really well. I think I think fighting games are probably one of the few series that do
Guilty
represent.
Gear has my favorite character, Nagaryuki, who is a sword wielding samurai vampire who also is black, and is just they've done nothing to this man to make him stereotypical, right? He is just a wandering samurai vampire, and he's amazing. And he just so happens to have dreads or locks, and it's fine, right? Like it is just the most beautiful character, and I love him so much. I'm a
Is he
Nago.
vampire stereotypical?
In that he has a lot of money because he's been alive since the 1890s, or in that he sparkles in the sun? Which one we going for?
Mm,
Are we doing
can
Anne
we go
Rice
more with
vampires?
the? Sorry,
Are we doing Anne Rice vampires, or are we doing
I'd lean more towards that than vampires don't sparkle.
there you go, yeah, he's not pretty, no. He's large, he's beefy, another reason I like him, thank you.
But the teeth.
He does bite,
fangs.
yes, he does.
Okay.
He does bite. That's
He
part of his
thick, but
moveset.
also he bite.
Yeah.
And
He's
where's the problem
favorite.
here?
He's very beautiful. He's wonderful. Yeah, I think you're right though. Fighting games seem to step up where other games don't, where they're like, oh yikes, too many white people here. And so they draw from some kind of influence that they actually can, research or find or whatever, and that they enjoy, right? I know that the creator of Tekken, I can't remember his name, but I know that he drew King from a wrestler in Japan that he liked, whose name was like Tiger Mask or something like that, and a
On the nose,
Mexican,
but okay.
and a Mexican luchador who was also a priest in Mexico, obviously Mexican, and so it's just really like a wonderful dichotomy of like, yeah, I love wrestling and I want to pay homage to these two really great wrestlers, and so I'm gonna put them in my game, and that's a fine way to do representation, right? Like if you know of someone, the idea that you draw from Mr. T for your Final Fantasy game, that is fine. Mr. T is cool, we like Mr. T. What we don't like the gun arm. I mean, my man's can't have a hammer or a sword or like
which they did give him in the remake, which is kind of cool. Is one of the swap outs you can do for him is one of his weapons was I like that they gave me options for him and his weapons. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm just all gun all the time, right? It's like gun, different gun, other gun, flamethrower gun. All right, let's rocket gun,
big gun, little gun.
No, like one of them was a giant blade you could attach to his hand. One was just a like a cannonball that was just stabbed, but he didn't like shoot it. It was just a cannonball that he used to like just uppercut people. He just run up to him like a bullet train and just knock him in the head. And he's like, all right, good. Now you're in my body. Great. And
I love that actually.
I love the banter that he gave during fights. Like they just like they did a better job with him as a character. Now, again, most people are like, well, I feel like this remake's gonna ruin the 7 series for me because there's like timey-wimey stuff. Like, I don't care. Like if you give me well-written characters and like better people of color representation, guess what?
like we didn't just go through this with Final Fantasy 14. There's timey-wimey stuff in each Final Fantasy.
Every single one.
Every one. And I can prove it. In this dissertation, I will. No, I'm kidding. But it's
a whole episode in itself.
Why do we have to kill God?
Do we need a reason?
Do we need a reason?
Not in Final Fantasy. Not in Final Fantasy games. You don't need a reason. Well, no, most of the time you don't need a reason. Not even in Mario Maker, Super Mario Maker. It was the 7-star RPG.
Oh, because God was like, I'm a sword and I'm here to fuck you up.
Yeah. Also made by Square Enix. So
that's correct.
Yep. So
they know what they're doing.
They do.
Do they?
They know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, I don't know. We were all like, oh, their president's stepping down. He's into NFTs. Yay.
Oh, well, I mean, that is good news.
But then everyone's like, yay, new person. They're like, yay. He's like, I'm more into NFTs. Everyone's like, no, wait, no.
Oh, oopsie.
Don't want that.
Oh, stop.
Hang on. Old guy, come back until we
Old
can
guy,
find
come
another
back.
new one.
We liked you
Wait.
better. We
5-second rule.
Yes.
Oh, stop it.
I want to retire. Nope.
No.
You sit in that president's chair
Right,
and you tense your
you
fingers.
wait. You gotta not do it. You can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to move anymore.
You tent your fingers until we're ready for you, sir.
Like Gaben? Just like Gaben.
Just like you.
Just like Gaben. With representation in gaming and future gaming, I know we didn't really touch on Final Fantasy 14 a whole lot, which I guess the world is populated by people who represent all cultures, I guess, in some sort of way. So, sorta.
I take Final Fantasy 14's NPC representation for what it is.
It did,
Right?
yeah.
All of your best friends are pasty white with white hair, and that's fine.
I call it a limitation of the PS4 console that's holding him back.
Really?
That's what I'm going to say. I'm sure that's an excuse somewhere. Someone's going to say.
I've heard that a few times. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the PlayStation 4
This
is really
came out on
holding back.
the PS3. You wanted black people as your best friend.
Couldn't handle it. We didn't have HDR.
Absolutely not.
Couldn't run it.
How dare you?
Couldn't run it at 144 hertz. It would work.
What do you think? Sony is made of money, and you think we are too? By the way, FanFest is happening. $200, please.
Chili
You did not just say you got your Stola.
I guess you got your Stola. Chili,
No.
I'm pretty sure you Stola left the game for like half an expansion and came back a few shades later.
Yoshi P literally told me that she stopped tanning because it was bad for her health.
Yeah.
Remember when she died and then went to the thing and she was dead for a while? Like, that's kind of like that, right? Is that how it works?
And she came out and she was like, guess what, guys? No more tanning for me. That's how this happened the first time.
Guys, I died and came white.
But that being said, I do appreciate and also wince a little at the amount of players I see who come from different backgrounds, simply because I recognize and I have found a lot of friends through Final Fantasy 14 who are Black and who are Hispanic and so on. And I appreciate that a whole lot. But I know that the community is not all there, in that there are a lot of bad faith trolls out there who like to make their Final Fantasy name something ridiculous, use certain glamour items and facial features and hairs to make jokes rather than to make just a cool guy, and that kind of thing still hurts, right? When you log in and you see someone has decided to make some terrible looking Rogadin who is meant to be like I don't know, like a lawn jockey or something, right? Like all those things still kind of live on that game, and unfortunately, I guess the only thing you can really do about that is report and move on with your life. But it is still the reality of an MMO where people don't quite get it, that you run into that. And
I have a question for you.
So much customization.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, and Quentin, of course, this is for you as well. I think in again, we don't talk a whole lot about Blizzard on I mean, mostly just to yell at them. So if anything, but there are some things that they have done recently that I would love to see in other games. One of them is the social contract, right? Like they said, hey, we're trying to change how we do things. Screw the executives, but at least the team itself, the team people currently like passionate about the game and trying to make things good for the community and change what was wronged by other people that are no longer there.
Sure.
One of the things they did was a social contract and said, hey, and I read through it and I was like, all right, well, let me read through this social contract. And it's pretty blatant, like, you know, if you F around, you're going to find out, like, we're not going to play games with you anymore. Like, it's, and I, to the point where people are like, you know, be careful. Like, even some people are like treating people a lot better in that world. And I think maybe other MMOs kind of need that social contract. I know a lot of people say like, oh, Final Fantasy 14, the community's great. But are they though? Like, are we saying everybody is great in that? And at least, if anything, it gives them the right to say like, all right, well, now we have something to say that if you don't, it's not even just terms of service. Right now we have a community guidelines, and if you are breaking these guidelines,
kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
it makes you agree to it before you enter the game. It's like, hey, before you can come play the game,
that is terms of service.
Yeah,
terms of service. But you have to agree that. But you read it, you got to click through it. And if you don't read it, that's on you. Because if you do something stupid, guess what? You ain't playing this game no more.
Like the terms of
service. Yeah.
You would think though, right? Because there is this kind of like process of getting someone off of a game like that, right? Where it's like you have to report them, and then the report has to be reviewed, and then if like the person who happens to be working that day decides that it's not up to whatever code or snuff, then you know nothing happens and person goes, you know, on with their lives and continues to be a dick. But it sounds like with the social contract, what you're getting is a lot more of a more what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like stronger.
There's no gray
reaction.
area anymore. There's no there's like it's black and white, and there's like you really have to push for a gray area. Like you're really gonna have to like argue, and you're listening, and there is none. Like, as far as I know, they did some sweeping bans of people. I know there's people that like no longer like. I think there were people that dropped the game that said I'm not gonna play it, and that it's almost like, all right, cool, hey, all right, bye, goodbye, trash.
Were you the problem?
Yeah, I think you were the problem.
Is the problem in the room with us right now?
No, I signed the contract. I'm a good boy.
But yeah, that's what I mean though. Like a stronger rebuke of people's nastiness is a deterrent, right? And it makes them go somewhere else or nowhere else, right? It is fine, in my opinion. I know that, you know, these people want to make money, but it is fine, in my opinion, as a private entity to say like, no, you can't say that here. Get out. Like, no, you can't do that here. Go away. You're trying to keep as many people on as possible, and if more people are being you know, batted away or don't want to play your product or use your product because it has a reputation for like racism, sexism, ageism, anything like that, then you not doing anything doesn't make more people come. It makes a lot more people leave, right? And so I think the cost reduction here is more people come to game because good community, less people come to game because of bad community, right? It's very simple kind of transactional math here. And I am hopeful that that is what is being kind of recognized by Blizzard, not only because of their inaction and terrible actions in the past, but also because like they want people to enjoy their stuff and they want those people's monies. Like that's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget they're there to make money.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of you can still want people's money and do good. You know what I mean? By those people.
Let's learn
there's
today.
Money
We learned
and then there's money.
Today we learned the word MAU, aka monthly active use.
Yeah.
How many did we have? And high, good.
MAU is one interesting metric, but it is not the important metric.
It's not.
Yeah.
It is the value per user that is the important metric.
Yep. And the funny thing is
that.
I was gonna say the funny thing is like during like and I will say it's not particular to Blizzard. a lot of companies talk about MAUs, right? Like that's like the new like we're not going to talk about that we're not because they dropped they dropped how many users. They're just saying like or a monthly or MAUs. They stopped talking about like actual population size. They just say or a monthly active users or this and like this is like because you can count everybody in that group, right? It's like so much. So I don't know. I'm down for it. I think more games would benefit from it. I think even I want to say League of Legends even has some sort of social contract now.
Yeah. Actually,
right?
when I think about it, yeah, I think they do.
Despite the company itself, again, it's like what they do for the player base is better than what they do to treat their employees. But I think they even have a council, right? Like if it's you F around and find out, you hit the council and the council review, and you could be it's somewhat like, hey, you can get like the first one is like 24-hour ban, and then after that's like a week, and then after that it's like it might be a month, and then after that it's like 3 strikes you're done or something like that. So I think I don't know if any other game I know has like a council of people that like review those.
I definitely not that robust. I probably would have heard about it by now as well. But I will say that to whatever Blizzard's credit is or has, Overwatch was
at this point.
Yeah, right. Overwatch was one of the first games to really start there, where they noticed kind of right away, like, oh, our community sucks. And so they introduced a lot of measures to when you report someone, you'll get a notice about the report. If any action gets taken, you'll get notified about that. And it was a way of like saying both, see, we did something, and also like your actions are helping make the place safer. And so it really encouraged people, whoopsie phone. It really encouraged people to kind of focus in on like, oh, this person used a slur, let's report them. And then like it seems like the community's real good all of a sudden because everyone's like GG when they lose instead of like slur, how dare you. So again, to whatever credit they have, they did kind of start that process pretty early. And I think League of Legends then kind of slowly responded as well, like, oh, we should do something too, huh? Like maybe we should. We're not very well known for a good community, huh?
Yeah.
And so it feels a lot more, it feels very organic that we've reached this point, where people's kind of reactions and feelings about playing these games have actually been taken into account, and now we have some fairly robust systems that are helping players stay players.
Yep.
You can only win if you play the game, and you can't play the game if you're getting called slurs.
Yeah.
It does say something though that Overwatch was the first game that they really paid attention to all of that and tried to do something about it. Considering WoW has had that reputation since probably like the year it came out.
That I think that, and I'm saying this as a long time player of the game, that stemmed a lot from the internal as well, right? Like if your higher ups and I would, again, not saying the people that made the game, but some of them, but a lot of those people are no longer there. If they got severe bans, or they got severe like you ain't gonna come back for a while, so you're not getting paid while you're on this little mini vacation you have. So a lot of those people left the game, and the team behind the team behind it removed a lot of those NPCs that those people were represented by. They're gone. A lot of wording has changed in that game. Writing has changed in that game. Pictures have changed. Like art not just art as characters, but artwork on walls, like paintings on walls that might have been suggestive have changed to like bowls of fruit and stuff like that, or they've covered up. They've done a lot of work to pull away, not only fruits. I mean, that could be a 2 Can Sam's on that website right now.
Is that the queer version of OnlyFans?
That's good.
Slow clap. Slow clap.
I mean, I thought OnlyFans was also the queer version of OnlyFans, but hey.
True.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Watch slash.
And subscribe.
There you go.
Uh,
Toucan Sam is killing it over there on OnlyFruits, though, I hear.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Follow your nose.
Follow your nose. all your fruits taste the same. Shh.
Shut up. It's artificially flavored. Shut up.
Follow your
The lemon one tastes distinctly pretty lemony, though, doesn't it?
It really does.
Actually, I guess so.
Thanks. Sexiest cereal mascot.
That is Tony the Tiger.
I was gonna say Tony. Tony the Tiger is probably up there.
That is Tony the Tiger. Ask the furries.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger. He's
Honestly,
beefy.
name any other cereal mascot and try to compare it against Tony the Tiger. You got Captain Crunch, Toucan Sam.
I mean, is Captain
Trix
Crunch?
Rabbit.
Apple and cinnamon. Almost. Very close.
So close. Who else was there?
Cadbury Bunny is the sexiest chocolate mascot.
I don't know about that.
The Trix Rabbit is unforgivable.
The Trix Rabbit is unforgivable. Love it.
I don't know. Frankenberry.
No. Well,
Yeah,
Frankenberry's really cute.
yeah, he's cute.
He's
Couch,
very cute.
Couch Chocula.
Count Chocula can't get nothing. Sorry.
No, what's the wolf? It's got a.
Oh,
He's got like a no the Halloween one.
Oh, I don't know this one. I thought it was
Susan in chat might know it. Fruit Brute.
That's
Oh,
not real.
yeah, that's him. Yeah, Fruit Brute's the
Oh, no.
yeah.
Mm.
But like old Fruit Brute, not the new modern day fruit. Oh, new Fruit Brute looks weird. He kind of looked like a 70s like punk rock kind of thing going
I
on.
see. It's
What about the Honey Nut Cheerio bee?
this isn't a real cereal.
He's the kind of mascot, I don't know, like on a ranking list, he's probably like a C. You know, he's not like
Yeah, that's fair.
He's hot for no one except for the animated woman from the Bee movie.
Yeah, very
She
true.
loves him. She loves him.
Who here has seen the Bee movie? Is it just
No.
me?
Absolutely.
Who
not.
hasn't seen the bee movie?
It's a
will
whole
never-
movie where a bee cooks a.
I unfortunately cannot see it.
It's a very strange movie. Also, I just found
Yeah.
out that you can get Fruit Loop boxers or boxer briefs. So there's that.
There
Oh,
is that.
I forgot about the Honey Smacks frog.
He gives twink energy. Does that make sense?
Anyway, I need to look this up. What is the cereal called?
He gives
He does.
full twink energy.
what's the cereal
Honey
called?
Smacks. Honey
Honey
Smacks.
They used to be sugar smacks, but now they're honey because
Now
it
they're
has to be
yeah.
healthy.
Fruit Brute.
Yeah, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, Fruit Brute on the other hand is
Fruit
kind of
Brute.
like
But
he's not so bad.
Uh.
He's got a little bit like the Fruit Brute. MrBreakfast.com sells a Fruit Brute mascot, like a plastic bobblehead, and even that's
I've never had this cereal before.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it regional?
Fruit Brute's only around during Halloween. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
That seems not smart, but okay.
It's one. It's
Sure.
like it's up there with Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and Count Chocula. There's a whole gaggle of monster cereals they only bring out once a
Super
year.
weird, but
Yeah.
all right.
first images.
Now, is it weird that there's like the off-brand cereals like Honey Nut Scooters and stuff? They each have their own fake mascot, right?
I love a off-brand. I love a store brand cereal, and
Yeah.
the reason why is because it's not necessarily that they taste better than a Honey Nut Cheerio or something like that. It's not that they taste better, it's that they taste different, and that is enough for me. Where I am like, you know what? I've gotten so used to the slightly more horrible taste of this cereal that I'm fine with it now. I can handle this cereal.
It's
If
so
I
much
go
cheaper.
That's true, right? And if I go back, not only am I paying for a much sugarier product, I am now also paying like $5 instead of $3. So I will not do that.
Win.
Yeah.
I will take these honey wheels to my house and be very upset that I'm eating them, but it's fine.
Their names aren't great though, because they sound derogatory.
I mean, it owes.
They sound derogatory to like queer representing people. Their names aren't great.
Rainbow wheels.
No, like you know, they have
I was also going to put forward Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Marshmallow Made. Oh boy, they are in a throuple like nobody's business.
Yeah, they
I feel like they're more like siblings.
They don't get. Yeah, I was about to say they don't get to be on this list because they are either off the market as three gays living together,
trying to make
throuple.
Tell me they're not three gays living in New York trying to make it in acting,
something like that. But they're also those kind of gays who are like, "Oh, you look like me. We should be in a relationship."
Yeah, no, they're not New York gays. They're Hollywood gays.
Oh, they're Hollywood gays.
They're Hollywood gays. Yeah,
but they're from like the Midwest.
That, or as you
they
said,
moved to Hollywood.
They moved to Hollywood. All right.
That, or as you said, they are siblings, and I will not go into that territory. I will not enter those 100-acre woods. No, sir.
Yeah, Susan, there are no female representing cereal mascots, and
there are.
Are there?
There truly is not.
There's not a lot of them.
What are they?
Who is it?
Can I read you some of these malto meal names? And I need you both to judge. Tutti Fruities.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Marshmallow Mateys. Tell me Marshmallow Mateys doesn't sound like something.
Marshmallow Mateys actually does sound like a slur.
Is that right?
I will say it sounds like someone said like they called me a sailor, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, you don't you don't get to do that."
Also, I just found a cereal called Bootios.
That's from
Is that real?
They were, I think they were like limited time.
Like Big E?
Yes, it came from the wrestling trio New Day.
Oh, New Day. How did I miss these? I would have loved that.
Yeah. They're fantastic people. I love them.
I would love some Bootios.
Bootios, you know. Go straight to your butt.
Golden Puffs.
Yeah, there are truly no female characters, and if there were, it was like very short-lived, and no one knows about them.
Apparently, Strawberry Shortcake was once on it.
I'm getting called out in chat. Peter's off-brand Fruity Pebbles Dino Bites in our pantry right now. That's very true. I got that malto meal Dino Bites.
The
right in the
malto
fridge
cereals are so good, but I will say that much like honeycombs themselves, they cannot make honeycombs because they are disgusting. They are so nasty. I say this having not had sugary cereal.
Talk about a mascot. Remember the Honeycombs mascot? That little fuzzball guy with the eyes?
Yeah. Oh God.
I don't remember it, but I do remember it.
That's an F rank. It's not great.
Awful design. He was just like a crazy man.
Yeah.
Crazy man fuzzball.
Oh, right. Raisin Bran had the sun.
Yep.
Oh yeah, two scoops sun.
Yep. Wait, Tinkerbell was a mask?
I think they used a lot of popular cartoons as mascots for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I think there is a version of the Fruity Pebbles that is Betty and Wilma.
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, there's like the ones that people think of the most are like the Lucky Charms dude, Captain Crunch, the Tricks Bunny, Toucan Sam, right? Like these are guys. Tony the Tiger. These are men.
These are men.
And yeah, like Mellow Mystical said, women don't eat cereal, so they don't. What do they need a mascot for?
Yeah. There's a website called The Milking Cat that's ranked all the cereal mascots. What do you think number one is? Oh, actually, it's out of 18.
The tiger.
And 18, I think should have just been dropped. Like I don't think checks no mascot. Like,
Oh,
why
that's what they
include it?
put on there?
Yeah,
That's
and
so
they said
funny.
17 special K. The letter K is the mascot. That's not a mascot.
No. No, it isn't.
It's not. Now,
I tried to
Cinnamon
make a
Toast Crunch,
rationale
the
for it,
crazy
but,
squares are mascots. I give them that. So,
Sure, yeah.
so let's move up to the list. Let's do top 5. So, what do you think number 5
Oh
is?
no. Number 5,
Yeah.
it's got to be either the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Baker guy
Mm-hmm.
or the Trix Rabbit
Okay.
at number 5.
Number 5 is Tony the Tiger.
What?
Yeah.
Insanity.
Now, get this. Their description says, I think someone is hiding something because number 5 reads as the number 1 description. Let's get first of all, I'm not kidding. This is the very first thing. First of all, just look at the guy. He's huge. As if being a literal tiger wasn't enough, Tony takes it to the next level with his gigantic biceps and broad shoulders. The curves of his throbbing pectorals, his mysterious cat eyes beckoning you to. I mean, anyways.
This is someone
furry
who
road, I
wanted
suppose.
Tony to be first, but got overruled by management.
At the milkingcat.com, I don't think
Absolutely.
so. I think someone was like, I know my mother reads this, so I need to.
Also valid.
That keyboard was sweaty.
Yeah, it sure was.
My dear, shut up about it, Mom.
Uh,
Don't read it.
So the chat can follow along with this. Number 4, what do you think number 4 is at?
Well, if Tony is not there, then number 4 has to be the Trix Rabbit.
No, Sonny the Cuckoo Bird, which I don't think we mentioned.
Who?
The
no,
Cuckoo for
we
Cocoa
didn't.
Puffs?
The Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
How
Bird,
is
Sonny.
he even in the top 5?
I can't tell you because we're only doing top 5. That let's see. Where
Toucan
is it?
Sam's not in here.
Trix Rabbit was 13.
Either is Cat and Crunch.
13?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Trix Rabbit?
Yeah. What do you think
You know
number
what?
3 is?
Trix Rabbit got beaten by Cornelius Rooster from Cornflakes.
I forgot his name is Cornelius.
I did not know what it was at all. I didn't know it had a
Wow.
name.
That's
For a rooster that keeps.
then-
Isn't it funny that the rooster, like the whole point of that rooster was like, hey, you don't touch yourself, but also, I'm a rooster.
Yeah, this list is wrong.
This list is very wrong because number 1 on this list is the sun. Sunny.
I can understand the sun being ranked high.
Did you know the sun's name was Sunny?
Sunny the Sun.
When I read Wikipedia, yes.
Amazing.
Oh no, this is ranking by strength of mascot. It's not which one's best. It is which one is strongest. And that
I'm
makes
sorry.
sense.
I'm sorry. But strength in what? Terms of sexiness. Let's get that right. It's like,
No, this is just strength is like straight up strength.
Oh, okay.
Because there is no way that Count Chocula gets second in any world.
They're saying that Count Chocula has healing, control of animals, and telepathy. I've never
Wait a
seen any of
minute.
that.
What vampire is this?
Yeah,
Count
Count
Chocula?
Chocula.
Count Chocula is a vampire, which means he possesses immortality, super strength, heightened senses, flight, increased speed, rapid healing, control of animals. Which one?
He has every
Look at
single
that.
like Dracula power from every
This is-
single franchise.
You are describing Superman.
He probably sparkles in sunlight too.
He's a
But he can't go out during the day.
necromantic druid.
It's a lich.
No,
I don't
think so.
like this
Also,
list.
The Lucky Charms leprechaun is stronger than Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger stream on Twitch was enough
Someone's
for him to
wrong.
claim number 1. The
Someone
way
wrote-
nobody behaved in chat.
Someone wrote this to make me angry.
Oh no, I looked up sexy cereal mascots and someone drew Tony the Tiger. Now, it's safe for work, but
Well, let me tell you something.
People
People
it's-
are always going to be drawing
it's-
Tony.
it's so
Mhm.
it's almost too sexy. Like it's almost
People won't be doing this.
I wonder if can we type yassified cereal mascots? Can we
Oh, I'm
get
sure.
Cereal.
Oh my
Cereal
god.
mascot fighting game. I think Susan's onto something.
Yassified.
Ooh,
Hold on.
wait a minute. There's an idea. I like that.
I would love a cereal. I want Oh my god. Am I gonna get yassified?
You could call it serial killers.
Good news. It exists, and it is called exactly that.
Yassified cereal mascots?
Is it?
No, serial killers. It
Hello?
does exist.
with a Z.
Oh wait, hang on. It is kind of
Oh
old.
wait, no, this is actually just a cereal place.
I need to drop this. I need to drop this in the show chat for you all too. We'll drop this in show guest so you can all see it.
Me too. Yeah.
I need you to see. I need you to see Tony the Tiger. No. Show them
Oh,
Tony. Show them
had a link.
Tony. I have to screenshot Tony the Tiger as this is happening.
Yeah, I got this. This is.
I want to see it.
Hold on, I got this.
Where's the big guy?
That worked. That worked. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. Like.
Oh, that's okay.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I was expecting a lot worse.
No, I said it was safe for work. It's just he's almost too attractive.
It's very borderline, right? Because like
Right, I'm
sure
posting
he's
it in
wearing
channel.
like cute like gym workout shorts and has his titties out to the world.
Yeah.
But it's like he's being nice about it.
Yeah, he's
whereas
there's almost a himbo. There's definitely almost himbo quality about it.
You could
There's no
almost
almost there.
some like bulges in there somewhere, specifically in one area I'm thinking about, and like he could be flexing instead.
Okay,
his expression could be like not smiling, but like looks like, "Hey, buddy."
If I say that this art is not by a furry artist, would you know what I mean? Right? Exactly.
That's
Yep.
That is exactly it. This art is not by a furry artist.
Yep.
But know exactly what you mean.
There's another show title.
This art is not by a furry artist. Yes, that is a great show title.
There's so much art of Tony the Tiger. There's so much out of all the serial mascots. There's so many.
Kind of a controversy over it because so many people were suddenly like, I want to draw really nasty Tony the Tiger art, and did that. Kellogg's was like, hey, can you actually cut it out for a minute? We're trying to sell a product and you are being nasty.
Someone created Tony the Tigress. Tony with an I. So I did get a yassified.
There you go.
Tony the Tiger.
That's
Also
a good note to kind of like wrap up on.
Yeah. So
let's not go.
But I did see
down the Tony hole.
No, that's
well done.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I regretted
it. Going down the Tony hole. Well, we know the show title.
That's why I come here. The gaffs.
Well, I'm gonna at least show you the actual like official update to Toucan Sam. Like that, this is official. Like,
oh, I think I've seen it.
It's the new I don't know, Pride Toucan Sam. I don't know what's going on with it. It's very rainbowed out though.
He's got like he's a lot more like he's cutesy.
Yeah, it's like a Cartoon Network or like a new Disney like anime.
This is Toucan Sam's son.
Is it?
I mean, it looks like that.
Toucan Dam. Yeah, there he is.
Apparently, people in it are mad.
Oh, of course, because you can't see. This is why you're lucky that there's no lady mascots. Because if they took away her high heels, then oh boy, we'd be in a lot of trouble.
Also, I like that someone took made a Aqua Teen Hunger Force meme out of it. what has science done? Well, we discussed, hey, friends. It's that time of show where Peter comes and sits down and tells you what we discussed. We discussed representation in gaming. We talked about
representation
D&D,
of serial mascots,
yassified serial mascots, and Tony's hole. So really, we've come full circle. Kami, welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. I would love to come back every time.
Love it. The third chair always
Wait,
for Kamijace.
wait,
I will say it
third chair?
officially, like third chair, always here for you.
Susan has summed up the entire episode in one sentence. Representation in video games and serial mascots, both not good.
Much improvement needed.
Much improvement needed.
Much improvement needed.
Performance review season, and they both get it needs improvement.
You know what? We're gonna give you a pip, and we're gonna see how you do in about 6 months. Right? We're gonna come back and revisit this. We're gonna have Kamijace back on 6 months.
How we doing on
serial mascots?
Where are we with the representation? Still not good.
Still not good. Not great.
The worst? Wow.
Well,
Okay. In 6 months.
What, they made Tony put on a pair of pants now? God.
Well,
Where's
if you
his
want to
ass
find us more,
They green
find
M&M
us on
Tony the
Twitch.
Tiger.
What do you mean it's vegan? He's vegan. He's a tiger.
He's gluten free.
what about the glutes? Anyway, you can find us on Twitch. I stream on Sunday with some more, possibly Raft, something cozy. Peter streams on Tuesday. It sounds like we're getting some very bright games coming up. We'll be streaming something co-op next Thursday, again, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know when the UK switches times. I think it's this week, so it's probably back to 2 a.m. BST. And before Peter has too much fun with this, our April episodes are going to be on April 7th and Friday, April 21st. And if you are watching us live, we are going to be taking a quick break, and then we will be back for a round of Wingspan.
I'm sorry, I put a new cereal in the chat.
I saw, and that's why I was trying to wrap up faster.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this episode of Maelstrom Radio. Kamijace, can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Yes. So, as always, I'm gonna use my copy that I've memorized a whole lot.
Perfect.
As always, you can find me at Kamijace Gaming on Twitter, and you can find the Weekly Cooldown as well, which is my video game news podcast at WK Cooldown on Twitter. I also have the Greatest Gaming Game Show Ever, which is season 2 is coming, but you can listen to that as well and find the Twitter at GG Game Show on Twitter. And yeah, D&D and other streams on Twitch. If you check out my Twitters and Twitch and my Linktree and all of that stuff, you'll find, I think, a link to our Discord. So drop by the Discord, come say hello.
All right. Well, as always, thank you everybody for joining us on this episode of Maelstrom Radio. If you're going to be hanging out with us, the show's going to go down. We're going to come right back up. It's going to be Wingspan.
We'll take a quick break, too.
Just a quick break so we can stretch our legs. So, as always, you know it. Till sea swallows all. Go find Tony's hole.
Maelstrom Radio is brought to you by Flatus, Shinter, and me, Susan Sprinkle. Join us for live podcast recordings and game streams on twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. Give us your feedback. Send an email to show@maelstromradio.com. And please check out all of our links at linktr.ee/Maelstrom Radio. Views and opinions expressed by our hosts and guests do not reflect the views and opinions of any companies discussed on this episode.